Do you get told all the time, keep your head down, swing it slower, keep that left arm straight? If so, make sure you check out this video. I'm going to be talking about bad advice we hear from other golfers. I'm going to try and dispel some myths and get rid of those rubbish swing thoughts to make you really focus on something a little bit more positive. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is all about bad advice to ignore. So this is part of my Back to Basics series. So I've done videos on the setup changes for different golf clubs, as well as the swing as a general. I want to do in this fourth part some bad advice you'll hear from other golfers. I will put the links to the other 3 videos just up here, well worth checking that out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video again. As mentioned, today is all about bad advice. So I'm going to be covering the main 3 subjects I hear day in, day out, either on the golf course or on the driving range, where perhaps your friends are trying to give you advice or husbands trying to teach wives, and we get sort of this. In fact, I hear golfers even that have been playing for years and years and years still getting this bad advice. So the top 3 for me, one seems to be swing it slow. So first of all, how can we produce good club head speed, good ball speed and distance, swinging it slow? We could walk around the golf course doing this and chip the ball, and I've got a par 4 here. I could take 4 shots to get to the green, but I'm always going to be playing double bogey golf. So distance and speed are important. So when people are saying slow it down, perhaps they're talking more about tempo. And I may agree with that, but it's finding a tempo that works for you. You will see on the tour, there are some players more like a Sergio Garcia with a quicker rhythm, Nick Price, a Lathabel, that sort of similar quick rhythm, quick movement, and then you'll see some with a much more slow, laid back, rhythmical rhythm. There isn't a wrong or a right, but it's just finding the one that works best for you. And that may be even dictated by your personality. Are you someone who's always rushing around and late for the tee, driving quick? You're generally going to have a shorter, quicker tempo. And someone who's a bit more laid back, generally getting there on time or late, very smooth, laid back, and will tend to have this longer, looser rhythm. So even your personality, your traits, the other things you do in life may dictate your golf rhythm. And you should just find what works best for you. There is no wrong or right there, as long as we're producing a good impact position. So I don't necessarily agree with slow it down. A second part of advice I hear all the time is for players to keep their head down. The big issue with that is the lack of rotation that I'm going to get onto shortly. And the third bit of bad advice I hear is you've got to keep your left arm, that's for a right-handed golfer, so your lead arm straight. And you get golfers generating more and more tension throughout their golf swing. I'm going to be focusing or using in this video a driver, but the advice I'm going to give you today is relevant whether we're talking about a driver, a mid-iron, a wedge. It doesn't matter. The swing advice is going to be the same. So let me jump into it. As I said, I've covered a little bit there probably already, the swing it slow part. I would like to see people find their own rhythm. And as long as their tempo isn't causing a problem. So if you get someone who's got a quick takeaway movement and they're struggling with the takeaway by whipping the club inside and open, then maybe we'd look at slowing down this first part of the golf swing here. But if they've got a quick movement, but they're getting the club in the right positions, then I wouldn't slow it down. I'd just keep it as is. Ultimately, we want maximum club head speed at impact to help propel the ball as far as we can. So simply slow it down could disguise our faults, but is that any fun? You know, do we want to hit the ball 150 yards instead of 200 yards just to try and keep the ball a little bit straighter? You might say, yes, I would work on method. I would work on why you're hitting the ball offline rather than just, I'll slow it down so I don't hit the ball as far and it doesn't therefore go as far offline. I think that's a really negative way to play the game. I'd prefer you to work on why you hit the ball offline rather than just the disguise of I'll swing it slower, I'll swing it smoother. Tempo potentially, you know, we want maximum club head speed at impact. So a great way, you know, real simple drill would even be holding the club the wrong way round and just trying to get that maximum whoosh at impact. But I wouldn't say, you know, that it's a fault of swinging quick on the backswing that we've got to stop unless it's causing other issues. So only look at tempo if you've got some other problems in there, if you've got a quick takeaway or backswing and that's causing you to go too far or slide. If it's causing a fault, fine, work on the fault, but don't necessarily slow it down. I want to jump into head down, which is a big bit of advice I hear that I massively disagree with. And if you watch my channel before, you'll understand that I disagree with this. Players who try and keep their head down end up with a real lack of body rotations, that is lower body as well as torso and core. A lack of body rotation. When the body isn't rotating, we tend to see the hands take over. So we see a very handsy flipped release where they're losing control of the club head. What we really want is our head to feel like it's following the flight of the ball, allowing my body to open up. Now, and again, I have talked about this before, but if you're new to my channel, one bit of advice here is you will never see the club hit the golf ball. They're over too quickly. A better thought than actually keep your head down would be watch the golf ball. However, take that with a pinch of salt. You're not going to see the club hit the ball, but it'd almost be watch the club hit the ball, watch the ball fly. So you're allowing your body to keep rotating, to clear some space for the correct release. Head down itself, very limiting on what your body can do, and you'll lose a lot of club head speed as well as control of club head. The third bit of advice I hear a lot is about the lead arm. So for me as a right-handed golfer, that is my left arm. And golfers trying to keep it straight. And the problem with trying to keep it straight, they end up very tight and tense. They're trying to push their arms a long way away from them. They end up with one, a lot of tension. Two, they tend to gain a lot of height in the backswing, so their posture comes out because their lead shoulder is actually rising as they're trying to force their arms away from their body. You can see the effect that has on my backswing. They tend to also be so focused on trying to keep this lead arm straight here that we complete the shoulder turn very early, and then we end up with more of a collapsing movement to the top, so the opposite of what they're really looking for. Now we can actually generate speed, extra speed from allowing our lead arm to bend slightly. It can be and act as an extra leverage. So a little bit of bend in the arm isn't the worst thing in the world. I wouldn't say we're trying to keep our arm dead straight. Personally, I can't keep that left arm dead straight. I broke it as a kid, it was mended wrong. I cannot get my left arm dead straight, but look at Jordan Spieth, you know, a very accomplished, great young golfer who has a little bend in that left arm, that lead arm. It's not the most important thing. Now, I'm not suggesting we want to allow the club to bounce off our shoulder, but a little bit of bend in there is fine. And I'd normally look at why you're getting that little bit of bend in there. And often it's linked to trying to keep the arms so straight, actually, that you complete your shoulder turn early and then they collapse. Or perhaps golfers trying to limit their lower body. So they're trying to stop their lower body moving, which means their upper body is limited, which means the arms tend to collapse. I quite often find if I get someone who collapses too much, if I can allow them to actually allow this trail hip to turn a little bit more, the knee to straighten a little bit on the backswing, they can create more hip turn, more shoulder turn, and they get to a position where they're actually keeping their lead arm, their left arm for a right-handed golfer, a little straighter. So I normally look at the cause rather than just the thought of keep your left arm straight, keep your lead arm straight. That on itself won't help. There are three horrible bits of advice golfers say to each other the whole time. If I tried to do all three, what would it look like? One, a horrendous movement, but let me give it a go. So I'm going to have a swing it slow, keep my left arm straight and keep my head down. It's not a very powerful movement. I have hit the fairway if it hangs on, but it's gone 170 yards, 160 yards. I want to propel the ball further. So I've got to start using my body better. So let's find our own natural rhythm that feels comfortable for us. As long as we're in balance, we haven't swung it too quick. I'm not going to worry about my lead arm collapsing a little bit, as long as we're not talking about into here. And look at it on video. and I'm definitely not going to be looking down. I'm going to allow my head to rotate and see how much more speed I can generate from that position. Let's give it a whirl. Natural rhythm, allowing myself to watch the ball and not really focusing on that lead arm. I want light arms, I don't want tension. Well, I know that went a hell of a lot further and still hit the fairway. So I managed to generate some speed by definitely allowing my head and my body to rotate. I really wasn't worried about that lead arm. As long as we're not collapsing too much where we're bumping our shoulder, don't worry about it. If it is causing an issue for you on the downswing because you are losing that lag, that angle in the lead wrist, then look at why you're breaking that left arm, that lead arm at the top of the backswing. It might be something as simple as you're so restricted with lower body or keeping that lead arm straight that everything has to collapse to swing it that little bit longer. And definitely don't focus on head down. Worst bit of advice you can have. Watch the ball would be a much better thought. Allow your head to watch the ball fly by allowing it to rotate. If that video has helped, as I said at the start, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video again. Make sure you check out the other videos from this Back to Basics series. I know it's going to help your game.